Diversity Done Right, Navigating Cultural Difference to Create Positive Change in the Workplace is a book by longtime Chicago executive Tyrone Stoudemire, providing a breakdown of what equity and inclusion looks like in the workplace.
Tyrone joins us now with more. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking in the break how much the pendulum swings about equity in the workplace. Where are we now, do you feel like?
I think in most cases, corporations are best in class in a mediocre society. Things have shifted. For the first time in our history, we have 6 generations in the workforce. How we get along, how we navigate, how we problem solve, and communicate is very, very different than it was 50 years ago when white men was ruling corporate America. So it's shifted. But I think history will repeat itself. If we don't pay attention to it, things will come back up. I've seen a lot of things that we saw 50 years ago into the height of the civil rights movement that's happening today. Wow. Some will say, have we made any progress? We've come so far, but yet we have far to go. And I believe that this all lies in the cultures, our cultural background, messages that were ingrained in us, that our parents have given us. Our mom may have told me one way, my mom have told you differently. But it doesn't mean we're right or wrong. But how we solve those problems, we base upon those cultural elements that brings us, that we've grown up with.
Okay.
When you talk about diversity, it's an evolution. It's not a journey, right? We're not going to get there overnight. It's going to take time for it to evolve. And when it started off 50 years ago, I mean, 1965, during the height of civil rights, it was all about bean counting. Give me 2 blacks, 2 Asians, 3 good white men, and we'll be okay. But then it created polarization, them against us. I believe that white men banter better than any other culture in corporate America. A white man can say to another white man, did you get your hair cut with a weed whacker this weekend? And they'll be fine and go out for drinks. If you say that to a woman today or to someone of color, it's on. It's on. We're going to have a different conversation there. So I think we have to understand it's all about me, understanding myself first. It's all about you, understanding you from your perspective on how you view the world. And it's all about us, how we work collectively across those differences to yield great results. This is a business imperative. It's not the right thing to do, right? It's doing the right thing is part of it, but it is about the business
being
of
able
D&I.
to grow and to move on into the next. You pointed out that a lot of companies included diversity, equity, and inclusion leaders right after George Floyd. And now we're starting to see all of those positions disappear. And so how do you achieve that when there's no one leading the charge anymore?
I think it's difficult, but that's what has to be bedded into the corporation's culture. For example, me working at Hyatt, our purpose is to care for people to be their best. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the manifestation of our purpose. It's how it comes alive. We're in the people business, right? People come to our hotels. They come not checking in, but inviting us into their lives. So the more we understand about those different cultures, the more we understand about those different backgrounds, we're more likely to serve them and meet them where they are. The shift is from equity. I think we've done a great job from equality, providing opportunities for all. It's equity, how we meet people where they are. I use an example of a bicycle, 4 bicycles for a family of 4. Everybody gets the same bike, the same height, the same size, but the 5-year-old kid can't touch the pedals, nor can he sit on the seat. His mother is riding comfortably, but she's concerned about her child in front of her, right? Safety. And she looks back at her husband, who's about 6'5", his knees are hitting the handlebar, he's bent over, who didn't want to go on the ride in the beginning, right? And her daughter's in a wheelchair, she can't even get on the bike. But we gave them all the same thing. That's where corporations are stuck. Being fair, we want to give everybody the same thing, but we're all different. So giving everyone the bike that fits their needs is where we need to be from an equality and equity perspective in society today.
You talked about generations, and how does that work as we're teaching this? Because you've got younger generations who may not be able to look at themselves and understand that part of it. Older generations who were raised differently and have a completely different mindset. How do we get everyone to the same place?
I believe that adults learn from an aha moment. You give them feedback. They should self-correct, influence others, influence systems that helps us to eradicate some of these issues that we have, whether it's the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matters, Asian hate, all those things are coupled. Society doesn't stop at the corporation doors. It goes into the corporations. We don't leave that outside the door, we bring it in. So how we interact, we have to listen to understand, not listen to react. Most corporations reacted to the death and murder of George Floyd as opposed to responding to what they were able to do. They've hired people who had the skill, the will to do the work, but didn't have the skill to do the work. They were bright, they were smart, they were intelligent, but didn't really know what it was like to really tie this to the business. You know, for us, it's getting heads in beds, right? It's working with organizations. It's working with, there's 3 areas: the workforce, the workplace, and the marketplace. Who are you doing business with? Women are more than 70% of the workforce today, yet they still sit in mid-level manager roles. How do we work to get women in senior level roles and onto corporate boards?
Yeah, how do we do that?
We do that. It's by listening. It's about making sure that we have access and opportunities, going back to the bicycle exercise. Oftentimes, women are substandard in some situations. Globally, I do this work globally. In China, women are viewed as second-class citizens. and so they would get the opportunities. In the hotel industry, the hotel owners sometimes would prefer a heterosexual white, blue-eyed blonde man from Europe to run their hotels in Asia. And the population is there, right? So it's actually getting people to educate them and the awareness, and it's about the data. You got to have an evidence-based diversity strategy leading with the analytics and the predictive analytics on who's in the workforce. But women at 70% of the workforce, they should rule the world.
Right?
Oh, right,
I
yeah,
agree with
but
that.
people don't want to do the work.
They don't want to do the work.
They don't
wanna do-
It takes work.
Yes.
It
It
takes
does.
work. It takes listening to understand. It takes courageous conversations. It helps us to get outside of our comfort zone and be open to differences.
Yes.
Every invention that we're living off of today, there was some resistance. Everybody pushed back because it was different. It was not the same.
Right.
It isn't about the same. It's about challenging those status quos to unleash power, to unleash innovation and
I think you
ideas.
just hit on it. People don't want to give up the power.
Listen, I tell people all the time, listen, the world study shows that people don't like the way things are, but nobody likes change but a wet baby.
All right,
Tyrone?
TyroneStudemeyer.com is a website where you get more details and find the book, which is a #1 bestseller on Amazon right now.
#1 bestseller in HR, in diversity, and social psychology.
I love that.
So I'm hitting all
Congratulations.
cylinders. I'm really proud and happy to do the work and honored to share my stories with others to help them change.
All right. Well,
Thank you
we gotta
both, ladies.
start.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Tyrone. I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
to see you.
Right.
All righty.